Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode 70 of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. The football season, Jared, has officially come to a close, or at least the on the field portion of it. We got a lot of good stuff coming up this week, though.
Yeah, it's a good week this week. Pitchers and catchers reporting in Major League Baseball. It's just about that time where we start shifting our attention towards our national pastime, which I love. It's one of my favorite sports. You have the Four Nations starting up with the hockey, so that's an interesting change of pace. I don't really care so much about international hockey, but I know a lot of people do. So there's that. You have the NBA All-Star festivities this weekend, if that's your thing. So. Plus there's, obviously plenty of college basketball and all that sort of stuff as well. So, it doesn't stop on the sports calendar.
No. And I know some people get sad on football season, but there's a lot going on. I am excited for the Four Nations face-off. Team USA maybe down Quinn Hughes now. That hurts them. That's not something you want to lose there heading into the tournament. I saw Elliot Friedman earlier today tweeting out what Canada's rolling out as their line combos, pairings, power play, all that stuff. So, it's here.
We should talk about that Top Canada power play unit. It's just disgusting, how much talent they have on it. McCarr, Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, and who was the center on that line? I don't even remember.
I'd have to double check who it was, but
I think Point was on that. I think Point was on the top unit as well. That's just disgusting. It almost doesn't even matter who the fifth guy is.
Yeah, and we could talk a little bit more about it later. But yeah, Canada. Great up front, great on the blue line, goaltending a little suspect. United States, great up front, pretty good on the blue line, even without but the Hughes loss is pretty big. Best goaltending in the tournament because there's no Team Russia. So Finland is getting down to if I made this joke earlier today to the guys over at Total Hockey Now, but Jared, if you have any Finland in your family tree, you might get a call to play their blue line at some point. It's getting bad for them.
I do not have any Finnish in my bloodline, so they will be safe. I will not be suiting up for Team Finland, but yeah, it's Finland turned out to be a little bit of a stretch for this tournament. And I say this is someone who likes Eric Hall. Eric Hall probably should not be on an international team at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I mean he is the projected spare forward at this point, but yeah, not especially after the season he's had. I mean, what I would have liked to have seen. And I understand the political reasons you can't have Russia in the tournament, but Russia would have had arguably the best team had they fielded one. You could have done a Team Europe, with German players, Swiss players, Czech players, Slovakian players. You could have fielded a formidable Team Europe as well. But we'll see how the puck will drop on that Wednesday night in Montreal. We're gonna do a hockey figure 5 later today, but we're here to rip some cards, and let's get the pack ripping lineup up on the screen here. We got NFL football here. We'll put a wrap on the Super Bowl and the football season for now with some 1996 Skybox Impact. We're looking for that. Maybe that Brett Favre MVP series had a little bit more allure to it a few years ago. Not so much anymore, but you see the rookies up there. Wouldn't mind getting an Eddie George or a Jonathan Ogden or a Marvin Harrison. And we're making a NASCAR debut on Rip N Riff today. Daytona 500, another one of those big events coming up on Sunday. Neither Jared nor I are big NASCAR people. I did produce the morning show for NASCAR Radio many moons ago. Shout out David Poole, rest in peace, Mike Bagley, Pete Pistone. Those guys are great. So we'll just rip. These cards have been sitting in my drawer for a year, so this is the week they got to be done. And then you're going to bring it to the Diamond.
Yeah, we'll be doing some 2024 Top Stadium Club baseball cards. Obviously I mentioned spring training starting up shortly, and we would very much like to get that Jackson Holiday rookie card here. I mean, he didn't have the greatest rookie season last year, but he did come along as the season went along, and I'm not necessarily selling the stock long term. So that's a guy I certainly would like to get in one of these packs.
Absolutely. I'm excited for that. When you sent me the picture for that one, I was like, ooh, that's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to multiple rippings out of that box. No rip and rant today. We will talk about the Super Bowl briefly here. I know Jared doesn't want to get too heavy.
Kind of a rip and rant.
It could turn into that. It won't be an official one. All I asked was for the game to be competitive. That really didn't happen.
Nope.
The Eagles defense, it is amazing that they got the pressure they did on Mahomes without blitzing him once. Zero
It's
points in the game.
insane. And like, you know, the old adage, you build championship teams through the trenches, and that's certainly what Philadelphia did there. Like, they have, you know, arguably the best offensive line in football, and you could argue that they have the best defensive line as well with how they played yesterday. And I know some people were joking on Twitter yesterday that like Vic Fangio was the real MVP of that Super Bowl, and you could certainly understand that case because they just like it seemed like every play they were in the backfield of flustering Mahomes, and Mahomes had no idea what to do.
And it was relentless. It wasn't like it came in like peaks and valleys or in waves. Like it seemed like pretty much 3 out of every 4 downs, Mahomes had this like, oh crap, look, what do I do? Because I've got 2 guys bearing down on me already. Like he just, you know, the Chiefs are going to invest heavily in their offensive line in the draft this year. That is for sure.
He just missed so many throws yesterday, and then the throws he did make, his guys didn't do him any favors. You know, Kelsey dropping a ball and Hopkins dropping a key ball on 3rd down. Like the game just kind of snowballed from there and just kind of got out of hand. And like before you know it, it's 24-0 at the half, and they really had no chance.
And early on in the game, when that A.J. Brown offensive pass interference got called, you almost had that like, oh boy, here we go. Like here's the narrative that everybody says that everyone's complaining about, and so you know what I mean. And it never. I mean, the Eagles were just like, yeah, that's fine. We'll do it again. We'll get it back. And
yeah, and by the way, that was a good call because it was hands to the face. Like I think that was a good call there. If anything, the Eagles were the beneficiary of the calls in the game yesterday. Like I forget the one like 2 possessions later that went against the Chiefs.
Trent McDuffie was a make good call. It was a make
up call. Yeah, it was very much a make-up call. And I mean, look, Philly just dominated that game from start to finish. So you know, you could say give them their flowers. I'm a Giants fan. I'm never going to give the Eagles their flowers. I'm never going to give the city of Philadelphia their flowers. But you know, I think that's what frustrates me the most about this game is I can't attach any asterisk to it. You know, like I can't say, well, if just this one thing went the other way. No, it was total domination from the get-go.
I mean, you can't give them flowers, but I mean, you got to give it like a subtle hat tip, if nothing else, because it was just a one-sided football game. It was not as close as the final score would indicate. Like it was, you know, Xavier Worthy probably had one of the quietest 8-catch, 157-yard performance, plus a touchdown in Super Bowl history. I mean, a lot of it was garbage time, but still, nice performance there.
Mahomes' legacy, generally speaking, is secure. That said, he was that bad yesterday where, like, it was actually like, wait, are we sure this guy should be in the GOAT conversation? I'm sure he'll bounce back. I'm sure he'll be back in the Super Bowl at some point because he's too good not to, and he'll probably win another championship or 2 before it's all said and done. But that was about as bad of a performance in a big game from a player of that caliber.
And, you know, to further that point, like, yeah, Brady lost in the Super Bowl, but point out a Super Bowl where Brady was atrocious. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not saying like he wasn't serviceable. Like maybe he's had some good performances and some pedestrian performances, but he never had a bad performance.
Right. When Brady lost in the Super Bowl, they're like 1-possession games. They have the ball at the end with a chance to win. It's just they didn't execute. I mean, the one game where they fell behind 28-3, they came back and they won the game, obviously. So I was kind of hoping last night was setting up for that, but no, the Chiefs just had no answers.
I'll say this, and like I understand it has no bearing on the game, but one thing I will say about Patrick Mahomes, that his biggest mistake yesterday, like you wear a green suit to the game when you're playing a team that wears green. Like I understand bulletin board material can only go so far, but like that's bold because like as somebody pointed out on Twitter, now you got to walk out after getting your ass handed to you by a team in green. Like that to me, that is a stupid, like super cocky, like, all right, take it easy. Like, you know, and the Eagles, they shoved it right back in your face.
All right. Now let me float this out at you because we always see the walk-in videos. We never see the walkout videos, especially whether they win or lose. And they're walking in, they have like the suitcase that they're bringing with them. Do you think they bring a separate outfit for the walkout video because they know nobody's watching? Because I bet he didn't wear that suit on the way out.
So sometimes when you look for that, you'll notice like, all right, maybe they came in with the suit all like buttoned up to the nines and perfect. And then on the way out, maybe it's, that top button's undone. Maybe they don't got the blazer on anymore. But I mean, I would, if you're going to make that, but it's almost worse if you make a separate, in Mahomes' situation, if you bring a separate outfit, because then, like you're going to get trolled for that, Like, oh,
right,
you wore green.
but like nobody would know because it's not like obviously like the cameras line up for these guys when they do the walk-in videos. That's such a big thing now, but nobody ever does it for when these guys leave and they board the team bus back to the hotel. So
maybe that's a thing that needs to start happening is people filming these guys on the bus all disgruntled and upset. Maybe that needs to become a thing.
Well, that'll probably be a thing. Like we'll probably see that like when the Chiefs win the Super Bowl next year. That'll probably be on the team documentary. Like they'll come out. They'll show
That'll
the
be
footage.
The opening scene.
Right. The opening scene will be the footage in the aftermath of this loss. And Patrick Mahomes will be talking about how, like, this just fueled him the entire offseason. And Kelsey's like, oh, I can't wait to come back for one last run with these guys. And, show I'm not washed up, even though he's kind of washed up. And they just go from there.
At least he didn't yell at Andy Reid like he did in the last Super Bowl because he wasn't getting the ball early in the game. At least he didn't do that yesterday.
Well, maybe catch the ball when they throw it to you. Maybe don't put all your production up in garbage time. How about that?
And that was the thing, like they were saying, like, oh, Kelsey only had one catch in the first half last year, and then he took off in the second half. And I'm like, this is a different game. This is not last year.
No. Well, that's part of the reason why I like the Chiefs in this game because I felt like the Eagles were just kind of like I don't even want to say better or worse, but like I felt they were like a souped up version of last year's 49ers. You have the elite running back, the elite defense, you're elite in the trenches. You have the quarterback who's like not like he's not a star quarterback, but he's obviously more than capable of winning. And obviously the Chiefs won the game last year, even though it was very competitive, and that game certainly could have gone either way. That's why I sort of felt confident about the Chiefs going into the game this year, but nope, just absolutely not.
And I'll say this, Jalen Hurts definitely deserves a little more respect after yesterday because he played that game well. That touchdown pass to Devonta Smith was just a dime. I mean, like he find the quarterback that's going to make a better throw than he made on that one. Like,
that was just the dagger, and that was the dagger at the right point of the game. It's like, the Chiefs. You think you actually might be getting back in this? I'm just going to rip your heart out now.
And you're right, like you said, perfect play call. Like, all right, they're on their backs, our foot's over the throat. Let's go. Let's just throw for the end zone. We're at midfield. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We drive the way we normally do, and it was just like that. Didn't even give him a chance to maybe cause a turnover and maybe gain some momentum back.
I hate this stupid Eagles team. I can't.
I know. And now you're gonna have to hear about them all off season.
Oh my God! You hear about them all season. The whole Saquon thing. I guess that's the one saving grace if you're a Giants fan is Saquon did nothing in the game. But like even then, like
about nothing. He had 90-something all-purpose yards.
Oh, he did nothing in the game. He was a non-factor in the game.
I know.
Like the Chiefs defense shut out to stop Saquon and make Jalen Hurts beat them. The problem was Jalen Hurts beat them, but I don't disagree with that game plan. I think that was the right call from their perspective. But like just having the Saquon stuff, as a Giants fan, just shoved in your face the entire season, just making this whole season, this whole team, just even more insufferable. And like the fact of course they win the Super Bowl. Of course, this is the 1 year of Saquon's career where he stays healthy and he puts up insane monster numbers, and it's incredibly frustrating.
At what point do you think John Mara turned the game off? 24-0?
If he's anything like me, he probably shut it off when Kendrick Lamar came on at halftime.
No, halftime
probably
show.
Like this, it's probably like this song's not for me.
And listen, the halftime show, we're two middle-aged white guys. That's not for us. I didn't think it was the worst halftime show of all time. I don't think it's certainly even close to one of the best, but it's not for me. I
don't have an opinion. Like it's not my type of music, which fine, but like I'm not gonna say it's the worst halftime show ever. Like I don't know any Kendrick Lamar songs. The only thing I know about Kendrick Lamar is that he's got like this whole beef going on with Drake. But like I don't, and I know he murdered Drake, like obviously figuratively with all diss tracks and whatnot, but like, there's just not really my thing. Like I'm not in that scene. So like it kind of is what it is. It's not. I'm not trying to crap on it. It's just
not. It's not. It doesn't. It's not appealing to you. It's like
right. It doesn't impact me. So like, what do I care?
I was texting with my buddy, like, it's been, you look at, we used to do Super Bowl halftime shows, used to go out in the street, throw the football around. And like, now I'm doing dishes and cleaning up the litter boxes because I got enough time to do that before the game starts again. That's what halftime is for me.
You definitely got to clean up the litter boxes. You don't want to have the little cat droppings lingering.
No, you don't want that. And and I get it. They're not going to do halftime shows that are like, I'm a Metallica, Pearl Jam, Black Sabbath. Like they're not like, they tried that with the Rolling Stones and Bruce Springsteen, and so like that's just not doing it anymore. So I get that. So enjoy whatever happens with the halftime show, as long as people enjoy it. You don't enjoy it, whatever. It's no skin off my back either way. I don't care.
Yeah, if it's not your thing, don't watch it. Like you know what I spent my time during the halftime show doing? Other stuff.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
It's a 40-minute halftime. You got time to do stuff. So there we go. A little Super Bowl recap. We're gonna get to some football pack ripping in a second. But I did get some Lucy's I wanted to show off quickly here. Let's bring up the West Coast Rip Cam. And this is what happens. Like you go on eBay late at night, you find one card you like that's cheap. And you're like, all right, I'll get that. And then it's like, all right, let me see what else this guy has in his store. He has a pretty good selection. Next thing you know, you're buying like 4 or 5 cards. So
that's how they get you, man.
It's like, well, I mean, if I'm going to pay for the shipping, and you can throw a few more in there for the same price, right? So we got a Barry Sanders here, top stadium club, most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, commemorative card here from November 19th, 1995. So what were you doing Thanksgiving 95? Top stadium club here. I love any Barry cards I can add to my collection. So that's nice right there.
I can't say what I was doing, but it looks like they photographed Barry Sanders after he had 3 Thanksgiving dinners right there. Like he looks like he hasn't skipped any meals there. And not exactly the the most flattering photo they used for that.
And that's the thing. Barry Sanders was never like a guy like that would come in to camp off overweight and then have to work it off. So that's just a unfortunate angle of the picture there. They're doing him no favors.
Are we sure that's not a Jerome Bettis picture photoshopped into a Lions jersey?
Yeah, he's the shoulder pads don't go down that far. So what gives there? Yeah, looking a little portly, if nothing else. One of the greatest running backs of all time. Speaking of running backs, we'll keep that theme. We've got a 2006 Absolute Spectrum numbered of 100. This one happens to be number 90. Curtis Martin there.
See now, Curtis Martin looking slim and trim there. Certainly what you expect out of your running backs.
All Curtis Martin would do is get you like 4 or 5 yards of carry all the time. That's all he'd do. Speaking of good Jets running backs here, we got another numbered of 250. This is 169. This is a 2011 Panini LaDainian Tomlinson Prestigious Pros. LaDainian Tomlinson was one of my favorite non-Jets running backs in the few years we had him. That was very enjoyable.
Yeah, you almost forget about the LaDainian Tomlinson Jets era. And speaking of Jets eras that are coming to an end, looks like Aaron Rodgers' time with the New York Jets will be coming to an end, per that Jake Glazer report yesterday. So
poor guy flies all the way in just to be told that thanks, but no thanks.
Honestly, that rocks. I love it. Considering it's Rodgers is one of my least favorite players in the league, I absolutely love it. Look, I have no issue with the Jets moving on from Aaron Rodgers. If you're Aaron Glenn and you're trying to establish a culture and trying to build it the right way from day one, hit the ground running, you can't have Aaron Rodgers. He's sort of undermining that. So right call, only call to get rid of him.
My philosophy on this, and I agree with you, you could go one of two ways here. You can either go with exactly what you just said, where if we're ripping this page out and we're starting everything over again, new coach, new culture, new attitude. Even if Rodgers didn't have all the ancillary stuff, we'll say, it's tough to establish that when you got a guy like that in the locker room when you're a first-time head coach. So even if Rodgers didn't have all that other stuff, it might have not been the worst move, but especially because of that, I think it's a good move. But there are other people like, oh, but what about this year? It's like, if you really care about the Jets really trying to win this year, then what's that going to get you? A playoff game in the first round with a Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City that you're going to lose? Like, what is Aaron Rodgers doing? Like, that's all you're going to get. That's the high water mark. And what does that accomplish? It's not about that. And I understand we need to snap the playoff streak, but I'd rather snap the playoff streak in another year or two and then be like, oh, we've got a team that's probably going to go back to the playoffs next year and the following year. That's what I want. I don't want this 1 year flash in a pan to get blown out at Arrowhead on a Saturday night in January, 41-13. You know what I mean?
Right. You're trying to build something that's sustainable.
And then the last of the cards before we get to the 96 Skybox Impact. Now, this one I think you're really going to like. It is a Upper Deck Major League debut, Derek Jeter, who appears to be signing like one of those old school like Yankee yearbooks with the classic Yankee Stadium backdrop there. Now, that's got to put you in a good mood after yesterday.
I love that. That's a card I might have to research and try to find one of my own just to add to the collection. But like I love everything about that. You love the old Yankee Stadium backdrop. You know, the new stadium's just not the same as the old place. It just isn't. I love the nostalgia with like the, you know, I guess you're signing a program there would be my guess. So like the fact that he's doing that, and obviously this is Jeter as a young pup doing that. He's not doing that in 2020 when he's well established on his way to the Hall of Fame. But love the old Yankee batting practice jerseys. Just love everything about this card.
And take a look at the back there, and then got a picture of him throwing the ball there. There you go. Good looking card there. I love the old "Nobody Beats the Wiz" ad in the background. Only a New Yorker or a Philadelphian is going to see that right there. But the old Wiz logo back there.
Yeah. I mean, we're old enough to remember "Nobody Beats the Wiz." I don't remember much about "Nobody Beats the Wiz" other than I bought Conker's Bad Fur Day on the Nintendo 64 at the one by me.
So Nobody Beats the Wiz. So Sam Goody had the better selection for CDs, but like a CD was like $17 at Sam Goody, where the Wiz you could get a CD for like $10, $11, but the selection wasn't always as good. That was the difference.
Yeah, Sam Goody. I mean, that was one of those auto visits anytime you go to the mall. But yeah, wow, Nobody Beats the Wiz was really more of like a department store, like a Target, or I guess the modern day equivalent would be like PC Richard.
Yeah, they were. PC Richard had appliances. The Wiz was more electronic. Maybe the Wiz had the Wiz did have appliance.
Yeah, I feel like they did.
There's like only like 2 people watching this that have any clue as to what we're talking about. I was like, who the hell is like? If you watch Seinfeld, you'll get there was a Wiz reference on that, so you'll know from that. But
if you grew up in New York in like the late 90s, you know what Nobody Beats the Wiz is. You gotta go back a little further, where it's like, oh, do you remember Child World, or like some of the old like? Do you remember Child World?
Travel World?
No, Child World. It was like the B-rate Toys R Us. I'm not talking about KB Toys, which was in the mall. I'm talking about Child World, which was very much a relic of the 80s. It was the alternative to Toys R Us. And it's like Child World rocked, but like it certainly didn't last long in the 90s.
It wasn't Toys R Us. Now there's no Toys R Us. So there we go. It's all gone.
It's so depressing.
I will say, like, I can understand, like, Target has a toy section, but there's something different about going to a toy store that's just toys and knowing doesn't matter where you go, there's going to be Matchbox cars, dolls for girls, dolls. Like, it didn't matter. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same going through a Target aisle like that. I digress, or we digress. Here we go. We got 96 Skybox here. We got a Super Bowl 30 card here of one of the best. We talk about the dominant Eagles defensive line performance. Charles Haley there. Talk about one of the all-time great dominant defensive linemen there.
Yeah, and he just got into the Hall of Fame a few years ago too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, no, I don't
even remember.
Now they played the Steelers in that game, so I'm not sure why they slapped that logo on a card against him playing with the Raiders, but nonetheless, we go on. We got another horizontal card here. Henry Flipper Allard there. Good old Commanders, Redskins, now Commanders receiver. He also played with the Rams. It was Flipper Anderson, not Flipper Allard. Sorry. A couple of quarterbacks here. One of the great lefty quarterbacks of all time, Mr. Steve Young.
I like that. Can we go back to the Flipper Allard card for a second? It's not
Flipper. I misspoke. It was Flipper Anderson, Henry Allard. I mean, maybe he's
Henry Allard, whatever. Yeah. I hate prefacing any statement with this because, you know, anytime you say something like, well, not to be racist, but you immediately says something that's racist, I do miss the old Redskins look. Like, I know the logo's controversial, but like I love that helmet, that color scheme, that the jersey combination. I love everything about that look.
No, I know. I agree. I agree. I mean, it's a sharp look. I understand. There are people that think the logo is offensive. There are people there that don't. And my opinion on that's neither here nor there. Doesn't matter. It was a good look, though. I mean, that color scheme, and I know they have similar colors now as the Commanders, but it's not the same. Like that was the look back then. The old hog offensive lineman back then.
I think the look they have right now is too dark. It's like a maroon or it's like a really deep red that they're using, and I don't like that look.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either. And I also don't love the team name, but that's what happens when you have Daniel Snyder running things. Back there's that Steve Young card. Here's a quarterback with an arm, but he never panned out. Mr. Jeff George.
Yeah, Jeff George has been coming up a lot recently in these packs, and certainly looks like he took a pounding there in that particular game.
That looks like a late October game at Lambeau where it's still not cold enough that the ground hasn't frozen over, so you could still get some mud. Yeah, that looks like he had a tough day there. That's peak Brett Favre era. We got Rashaan Salam pictured here with the Bears getting taken down by a former Houston Oiler.
If nothing else, you're getting heavy hitters in this pack, so we like that.
Let's see what else we got here. We've got, let's see, one of the Blades brothers. This one, Brian Blades, a Seahawks receiver there. Let's see. Coming up next, we've got a rookie card here. Can't say I ever heard of this guy, Dietrich Gels. Never heard of him. A couple more out of this pack here. We do get a Brett Favre MVP series card here. This one is 5 touchdown passes against the Chicago Bears in November of '95. So there you go. And last, we got 2 more to go here. We got Kyle Brady wearing the jersey and outfit that he was in the starting lineup studio audience in last week. And we got a couple of my favorite football players earlier. Then we were showing some of the loose cards there. Here's another one of my favorites, Mr. Mo Lewis, doing what he did best. Where it looks like he's bringing down Bernie Parmalee there.
How about that? Yeah, nice action shot there of him finishing the sack there.
And because the NFL on Fox was only in its second year at that point, they give you a little promotional schedule in the pack. Look at that.
Oh, that was nice. I like that. That's very nice.
Let's see here. So what was the big game? This was before. Was there big any? Oh, God, this is so small. I can't read it. I might need glasses finally.
I said that the other day in regards to something else. Like, I can't read this. I'm getting too old.
I mean, to be fair, this is like microscopic.
No, 100%.
But yeah, I will say sometimes at night when I'm scrolling on my phone, the screen's a little blurry. Might be time for some spectacles. Do a little Millhouse impression, maybe.
By the way, the 2 things I'll mention since you mentioned NFL on Fox. One, it seemed like yesterday was almost like a farewell to Jimmy Johnson.
Had that vibe.
I don't know if you got picked up on that vibe, but I certainly noticed it on the pregame. And look, Jimmy Johnson is certainly a legend, but I feel like a lot of these pregame shows are very bad. So it's probably for the best if they move on from him. They should probably move on for Terry Bradshaw as well. And I'm not sure, aside from the Eagles, was there a bigger winner yesterday than Tom Brady?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, first of all, the watch he was wearing, did you see that watch he had on? It was like a 6-figure watch. Like I could never wear something like that. I'd be too nervous. I'd accidentally swing my arm into something and break it and be like,
Yeah, I'd be too nervous to wear something like that in public.
Cool. And one thing I do want to talk about aesthetically before we move on from football here. And I know a lot of comments happened about it yesterday on social media. What the heck were they thinking? That scoreboard bug, layover, whatever you want to call it. Like that looked like they forgot that they had, because it never fails that when a network has the Super Bowl, they pick that time to freshen up the look of the graphics and that stuff. So that's when new scoreboard bugs or overlays, whatever you want to call them, get debuted. That looks like they forgot to do it until about 10 minutes before kickoff, went into Microsoft Paint, literally made a green box and typed PHI, a red box typed KC. Like, oh, there it is.
The one thing I picked up on that score bug was for the KC and the PHI, it's the same font they use for the Fox logo. So I picked up on that. But other than that, it just looked incomplete and unfinished. And I'm not sure why these networks feel the need to change it after doing it a different way the entire season. We get used to that. So I don't know. It's not really my thing. I'm also not like the score bug police. I kind of wish if it were me, I would go for a simpler, cleaner, smaller look.
See, to me, like the look that like CBS or Fox had, they both had variations. This where it's like a small little scoreboard in the corner. You got the ticker on the bottom for the scores. That's it. That's all you need. I don't need
that's
anything.
what Fox used to have. They used to have it right up in the corner, and then they've sort of evolved over the last few years, and now it seems like everybody just has it on the bottom.
No, like if you're gonna do it like that, at least use the team logos instead of KC and PHI. At least it gives it a little bit more of a look there. But Jared is not part of the graphics police. I am part of the graphics police. I don't have my badge, but I on me, but I am part of it. Now we're gonna switch now. Usually Super Bowl Sunday is followed up by the Daytona 500. Usually about a week later, sometimes 2 weeks, but now it's a week later. I've got to go to a Daytona 500. That was fun. I mean, I got to watch it from Mike Bagley's turn position there in turn 3. The 50th anniversary is the year I went, so that's one of those memories that'll stick out in my head for forever. That was really cool. Most of the drivers that I knew from back when I worked on NASCAR radio are no longer driving, but figured we got these packs in the drawer. I might as well, burn them with the 500 coming up this week. We got a Jesse Augie rookie card, that rated rookie. No idea who that is. This is actually kind of cool to see because I produced for his dad. This is Myatt Snyder. I produced for his dad, Marty.
I've never heard of any of these guys.
Now,
this does answer the one question: do you show the driver themselves, or do they show the driver in the car, like an action shot?
So I think they have both of those, to be perfectly honest. So I'll take a look here as we get through the pack. His dad was the original co-host of the Morning Drive, along with David Poole. Chase Elliott here, one of the better drivers in the sport. How do we feel about the look of the cards? It's basic, but I kind of like it.
It's a basic look. It's sort of like that. It looks like he's, I don't know, walking on pit road, like he's walking on the garage or something. But and he's got like those nice like aviator shades there. So we like that. Plus, I think Chase Elliott's the reigning champ, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so as well. Now here's something that's cool. They got the old throwback Donruss look for a parallel there. You got William Byron being sponsored by Liberty University there. Brad Keselowski, one of the top drivers in the sports, being sponsored by King's Hawaiian buns there, which are excellent. If you haven't had those, they are delicious. Basically just sugar and bread.
Nice. What would your sponsor be if you were a NASCAR driver?
And I could cherry pick.
Anyone could be your sponsor.
I mean, man, I don't know if hockey equipment could get expensive. So maybe for my Thursday league, give me like a CCM or a Bauer sponsorship. If we're talking food here, El Pollo Loco would be a good one for me. It's a chicken chain out west. So that would probably, I've got my daughter hooked on the chicken now too. So that's probably the one for like, as of right now, that would be my El Pollo Loco. I'm available. Sponsor Rip N Riff. I don't care. Just give me free chicken.
Right. On the chicken. 100%. Yeah, I think I'm going the food beverage route as well. And for me, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go with the Diet Wild Cherry Pepsi. That would be the official sponsor of me, the driver. And like Barney Gumble once said, just hook it to my veins.
And the thing is, like, like a Pepsi, blue is the color, but if you did like a cherry Pepsi, you could do like a red pit, like wrap. It would be sharp. I like the wild cherry Pepsi route there, the diet. That's a good one. I think El Pollo Loco, Pepsi. Let me just make this real easy for you here. Here's the contact info, ripnriff@gmail.com. We're available. You are for surprisingly low prices.
And we got. I'll do it for $69.
Of course, that's just a reference to our last episode being number 69. Now we got a couple of cool ones here. We got Race King insert here with Kyle Larson, one of the best young drivers in the sport. I may have to send this next one to Mr. Rob Pepitone, as he is a big Jeff Gordon fan. There's a royalty there, Mr. Gordon. Although I wish they would have used like his typical DuPont fire suit, not that plain blue and white one.
Yeah, that's the one thing with NASCAR that kind of throws you off when you have these guys who are sponsored by somebody long term, and then they change sponsors at some point throughout their career. So I don't know if this is like late career Jeff Gordon or early career, but certainly a different look.
And then we got a numbered 149 out of 299. My guy, I used to produce his show for about a year and a half, Mr. Tony Stewart. And unlike the Barry Sanders card where it makes him look fatter than he is, that is an accurate representation of Smoke at that era.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Shout out Matt Yoakum, also a good dude. Got to do Tony Stewart live. Those were good times. We got another NASCAR pack. Well, now here's you asked before, is it going to be the driver or the car? Here's a car card of Brad Keselowski right there.
There you go.
All right, let's see. We'll breeze through the rest of this pretty quickly here because we got plenty of baseball to get to here. We got Austin Cindric here. We've got a Danica Patrick card here with GoDaddy sponsorship. Almost too much green. She gets lost in the car.
So that's interesting because she hasn't driven in years. So like, I guess this like includes like random legends or.
Well, don't forget, sometimes people with NASCAR, like, they won't do the full schedule. They'll just do like the bigger.
They'll come back for like one-offs and they'll race part-time. So maybe she's still doing some of that.
I don't know if she is anymore, but maybe she was when they were doing these packs. We got Kurt Busch, a 90 Donruss parallel there. We got another number one here. These were two good packs, I got to say, I picked out. We got number 99 of 199, Jimmy Johnson, one of the best drivers of all time.
Yeah.
And we got three more to go here. We got a Race Kings Dale Earnhardt Jr. Good guy. Then we got this one is cool. This is a throwback Dale Jarrett UPS revved up one there of the car. Now he's an analyst for ESPN. And we closed the pack here with one of I believe one of the favorites for this week's Daytona 500, another legend, Kyle Busch, aka Rowdy.
I mean, if you're gonna rip NASCAR cards, I feel like you certainly got your money's worth with these two packs. A nice mix of big names, legends, some young guys, and also a nice picture of a car there.
And numbered inserts. And I would say, like, out of all the sports we've done, and granted the sample size is small, but NASCAR's had the best rate of return, probably.
Yeah, it was much better than that one time we did tennis.
And I still have a few of those. That's for a rainy day, my friend. We'll do that one day.
All right, I think it's time we shift our attention from the track to the diamond.
I mean, yes, and I can't believe that my leaders in the clubhouse right now for pull of the day are going to be from the track.
Yeah, well, we'll see how long that lasts. And I can already say I like these cards because you get a nice mix of legends and current players. Because the very first two cards I get in this pack, you get a couple of Detroit Tigers here. You get the current guy with Spencer Torkelson, and you get the legend there with Cecil Fielder.
That's like a quintessential Cecil Fielder shot there. I mean, just after the swing, probably crushed one at the old Tiger Stadium. Although he's got his road uniform on there, so probably somewhere else.
No, I think that's the old Tiger Stadium.
It might be. You see, put it up on
the road uniform has the Detroit inscript on the front. So,
okay.
You can see a shot of him in the road uniform there.
Yeah, back when baseball had a road gray and a home white and nothing else.
Yep. All right. It's funny. There's literally two of the same player in the same pack, and this player was in the news because he just re-upped with the New York Mets. We got a couple Pete Alonso cards. You got a base card, and it looks like you also get a Pete Alonso Special Forces card there. So, Special Forces card is actually a little bit bigger than the base card.
Yeah, you could see that. Yeah, just like a hair. But
actually, maybe not.
Do we worry about the Yankees or Mets? Who's the better team right now? New York.
I think it's clearly the Yankees.
Okay. Clearly not just by an edge. You think clearly the Yankees. Let me hear.
I think it's clearly. Yeah, I mean, the Yankees have the better rotation. You could argue the Mets have the better lineup, but especially now that they re-signed Alonso. But I don't think the Yankee lineup's going to be necessarily a pushover there. I would take the Yankee bullpen as well. So. I don't know. That's sort of how I feel. And look, I think the Mets also play in a tougher division. The Yankees don't have to contend with the Phillies and the Braves.
Okay. So the Yankees, you think, finish better because of the really just have to worry about Baltimore and maybe Boston to a lesser extent in that division right now. I mean, I know Tampa's always tough, but I feel like they're going to have a tough season playing not in Tampa and doing what they have to deal with the aftermath of the hurricane. This
also might be me hating on the Mets a little bit, but like the Mets pulled so many random games out of their ass last year. Like I feel like eventually your luck runs out with that sort of thing. Now, you could argue the team's a little bit better this year. They'll have Kodai Senga, in theory, so like they should be a little bit better. But like to me, like the Mets were barely a playoff team last year. Like they did, I mean, they got in and they did what they had to do and they went on a run. But like, I feel like this is like a 85 to 90-ish win team.
Okay. We got spring training starting this week. We'll see how things go. Obviously, injuries always play a factor too in a team's outlook. But Yankees Mets this year definitely should be two teams atop the division.
All right, so we finished that pack with a Pablo Lopez base card there. So you got the ace of the Twins there.
There we go. Twins always a stout ball club.
Yeah. So we'll see what we have. This next pack, I see another Minnesota Twin here with Byron Buxton, who like Byron Buxton, the player, but poor guy just never stays healthy. It just sort of is what it is.
When he plays, he's very productive, but yeah, just
the problem is he never plays.
He's he's going to miss half the season almost every year.
Yep. You got a couple legends here. You got Ty Cobb sliding into what appears to be third base there. I want to see what the back of one of these cards looks like. Let's see. Ty got more votes than Babe Ruth for the inaugural Hall of Fame class in 1936. A testament to his wide-ranging brilliance. So, it's funny. You hear all the Hall of Fame voting controversy. Ichiro was one vote shy of being unanimous, and like you go back in the day to the first Hall of Fame classes, like none of these guys were close to being unanimous. So it's just kind of funny how that works out.
There's a running joke that Howie Carpin was the one person that didn't vote for Ichiro, but I'll explain that off the air. He's not the one. And I don't, you know what? Now that you're laughing, I don't think I need to explain it off the air.
Oh no, I certainly get the joke.
Moving along. We love Howie.
Darryl Strawberry, another legend there at Old Shea Stadium with the Newsday ad in the background. Let's see. Francisco Lindor, another modern Met. This has been a Mets heavy box so far. Lindor is sliding into, I guess, second base, maybe third base there. And Josh Young with the Texas Rangers there. Nice little refractor card there. So that's cool to see. I haven't seen any rookies yet in this pack.
They'll come in the box probably, but just haven't gotten to the pack yet.
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, there's only 5 cards per pack here. So we'll see what we can get. We will start this pack. Let's see. Nolan Jones with the directionless Colorado Rockies. It's not a knock on you, Nolan. It's just your baseball team has no clue what they're doing. Let's see. The late great Tom Seaver. So another legendary Met. I actually might hold on to this one for one of my poker buddies who's a big Tom Seaver guy. Couple Padres here. Fernando Tatis looks like he's trying to leap up to rob a home run there.
Love that Petco Park. Great place to watch a ball game.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's on the list of like one of these years eventually going to try to do that, but hasn't gotten there. And it's a nice shot at Petco Park as well there with Joe Musgrove. Looks like warming up between innings or something. And last but not least, former Yankee Gleyber Torres in what appears to be like a black and white variant card here. So,
where did he sign this year? I forget where he signed.
He signed with, I think he signed with the Tigers.
That sounds right. They're going to be a tough team this year.
Yeah. I mean, they spent a little bit of money because they brought back Flaherty as well for the rotation after they traded him away at the deadline last year. So, they had to go in such a hot winning streak towards the end of last season to get into the playoffs. I have a hard time believing they can replicate that with the team they have, but. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, one last pack here. And then we'll see the rest of these.
Let's see if we got a rookie here.
No, this is another Tigers Mets heavy pack. It's been a Tigers Mets heavy box here, but Javi Baez, one of probably the highest paid player in the Tigers who doesn't really have a clear defined role because he's just not very good.
Yeah.
Starling Marte, catching what appears to be a routine fly ball there. So
a lot of blue and orange in this box. A lot of blue and orange.
There really is. Let's see. Manny Machado, again, another Padre as well there. So Manny Machado looks like waving to the fans there after hitting a home run or something.
Those Padre jerseys are terrible, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them. Stephen Kwan with the Guardians, leaping up to catch a fly ball there. Another nice refractor card there. So we like that. And last but not least, Carlos Correa with the Minnesota Twins. So if I have one complaint about this box, it's very biased towards a handful of like 3 or 4 teams. I've got a lot of Mets and Tigers and Padres in this box.
All right, so
And
that's
Twins.
how many packs did you
And
open?
Twins. I opened 4 packs. I only have 20 cards here.
So let's pick 4. So for the other 4 packs, I'm going to pick 4 other random teams that you're going to get in those. You'll get Marlins, Brewers, Mariners, Diamondbacks. That's going to be my for the other.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love
You're
it.
going to get some really good cards there. Good job.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So there we go. We got we're going to save those for another time here on Rip and Riff. Now it's time for poll of the day here, and I know what I'm going to pick for mine. I've got a tie. For me, bring up the old West Coast Rip Cam here, and let me get that overlay off the screen here as we move things along. And then I got the Jimmy Johnson or the Tony Stewart numbered ones here. I mean, anytime you get a numbered card, that's always good, and that's always going to be a contender for poll of the day.
I like those cards. My nominee for poll of the day is going to be Fat Barry Sanders.
Fat Barry Sanders. All right, we'll bring him back in. Yeah. So I mean, let's actually compare the portliness here. There you go.
I mean that doesn't even look like Barry Sanders. I love Barry, but like that looks like an offensive lineman playing running back.
That looks like you said, a Jerome Bettis, like a Craig Ironhead Hayward like type that's just gonna barrel people over. Like that's one step short of having the defensive tackle take the carry.
Does the back of the Barry Sanders card say anything about a quote from his mother about how he doesn't skip meals?
He cleans his plate every time. Let's see a highlight for a film every week. Barry Sanders chewed up. That's a kind of an appropriate pun.
How is that not the quote poll of the day?
And so there you go. There you go. You know what? We're gonna change it. There it is, right there. Big Barry.
Big Barry Sanders, as they call him.
He usually was very elusive and quick and fast. Not this day. No, he was a bowling ball this day. Oh man. There we go. There's your polls of the day. Now we opened the show talking a little bit of Four Nations face off here. We're gonna close with a hockey starting lineup figure 5. If you haven't watched before, it's basically Jared's got 5 questions to figure out who's in the starting lineup box that I'd like to open up today. He gets it right, I get to open it up. If not, goes back into the stash for a week. So it's a hockey player from today, and it's 4 Nation face-off week. And without further ado, you may ask your first question.
Is this player a Stanley Cup champion?
He is a Stanley Cup champion 2 times.
2 times. Is this player? Did this player win his Stanley Cups with the Detroit Red Wings?
It's a good guess, but no.
Did he win his Stanley Cups with the Pittsburgh Penguins?
No.
All right. Maybe I should stop this line of questioning.
You were closer. You were getting closer with the Red Wings than you were with the Penguins in terms of what team this guy. He's tied to this team. Maybe he didn't play for them, but he played against them a lot.
No, I think you gave me too much clue there. Is this player? Did this player win a Conn Smythe?
No, he did not.
Okay. Is this player in the? Did this player win one of his Stanley Cups with the Devils?
No.
Oh, okay. So I'm way off. Then, because I thought you were leading me towards Claude Lemieux, and that apparently is not going to be the answer. All right, so let's recap. Two-time Stanley Cup champion, has some sort of tie with the Red Wings, even though he didn't win his cups there. Didn't win them with the Penguins. Didn't win one with the Devils. Did not win a Conn Smythe.
He was a Calder winner, a 3-time All-Star, and a 1-time Hart winner. And I'll throw one more hint at it. You may not remember it because you're not a big international hockey guy, but he had one of the iconic international hockey moments to the point where it was put on a stamp in his country.
Oh, boy. This is going to really bug me when I don't get it. Because I know I've heard that story before, but I don't remember the player. Let's see. Is it 2-time Stanley Cup champion? Iconic. All right, I'm just gonna throw a random guess out there. If I actually nail this one, we might have to cancel this segment because I'm just gonna be way too good at this game. Is it Peter Nedved?
You had the right first name, but not the right last name.
It's gonna be Forsberg.
Correct. There you go.
Damn it.
And of course, the picture I'm referring to, I'm going to open it up here in a second here, is the 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer when he scored the shootout game-winning goal against, I believe that was Corey Hirsch for Team Canada. Let me zoom in a little bit there. But that was immortalized on a stamp in Sweden. So there you go. Yeah, and that's why I said the Red Wings, because obviously the Avalanche Red Wings rivalries of all those years, he went through them. But there we go.
That's why I was thinking Lemieux, because Claude Lemieux was public enemy number one for the Red Wings for quite a bit.
And yeah, when you said Lemieux, I'm like, all right, maybe he's kind of back on track, but nonetheless, he's going to stay in the box for another week. Sweden, I know everybody's saying it's USA versus Canada for the gold medal, but like Sweden is, I know they don't have Jacob Markstrom, but they're a very balanced team. They have a really strong blue line. They're capable of beating anybody. I wouldn't sleep on them either.
Yeah, look, I don't know how the tournament's going to go. It's international hockey, and it's also just small sample sizes. Like you're throwing together a bunch of players that really haven't played together, so it's and it's a quick little 3-game round robin tournament. So I don't know how much I should really make of the results here, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see when it starts this week, and I would hope it's not an every year occurrence, but we'll kind of see where they go from here.
I do like that it replaced the All-Star game, though. I do like that because, like the
All-Star game is
format
useless.
stinks now.
Yeah, the All-Star game is useless. So at least there's that. And if you're one of the many players who wasn't selected to this, you get to enjoy a nice week and a half off here.
Yeah, a guy like Igor Shesterkin, Rangers certainly don't mind that Russia's not in the tournament, so he can have a couple of weeks off to recoup. But that's the thing. Like, it's the 4 nations face-off, but it used to be where you could get away with doing something like that. I mean, obviously Russia belongs, but there's the political stuff. But there's too many other European hockey countries that are producing good players. And I'm not talking like, oh, Norway produced Matt Zuccarello, and there's like 1 or 2 other guys to ever come out of Norway, and that's it. Like, Germany's got talent. Switzerland's got talent. The Czechs have made a big turnaround over the last 10 years on international play. Slovakia. I mean, there are guys that, Denmark's got a couple. I don't know. I feel like they need to expand it. Maybe at some point things get better politically where Russia can be back in these things because, like, I don't want to say an asterisk, but Russia would have a top team in the tournament. They would indisputably have the top goaltending. Vasilevsky, Bobrovsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin. I mean, one of those guys. You know what I mean? So, like, it's almost feels incomplete. I'd like to see it get to a point where we have the best of the best and not most of the best of the best. That would be my one thing.
Yeah, hopefully we get there at some point.
We'll see, though, what they do for future years. But this week's starting lineup studio audience, is a tribute to the Four Nations Face-Off. We got a representative from each of the countries here. We got Patrick Waugh from the 92 series representing Canada. Mike Madonna, one of the best American-born hockey players ever from the 99 series there. Teemu Selanne representing Finland from the 94 starting lineup series. And Swedish defenseman Nicholas Lidstrom from the 99 series. One of the best all-around defensemen of all time, and you will not convince me otherwise. And if you don't agree, then you just, I don't know. He's one of the best all-around. I that's one of those where, like, you can have an opinion, but, like, if you don't think Nicholas Lidstrom was one of the best all-around defensemen of all time, you're wrong.
Yeah, he was certainly winning Norris trophies late into his career, and can't really argue that it wasn't warranted. So
let's just pull up his hockey reference page here, just so we can go through the complete resume of Mr. Lidstrom. Four-time Cup winner, Hall of Famer, all-rookie team, 12-time All-Star. Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, but 7 Norris trophies, and took home the Conn Smythe in 01-02. So, tell me, he played how many years? 20 years, and was his last year in the league, 11 goals, 23 assists. His last year. His first year in the league, 11 goals, 49 assists. Model of consistency.
Yeah, I would say it was pretty good.
Yeah, he was all right. So we'll be talking about plenty of hockey later on this week. Total Hockey Now, myself and Christopher Merez, as Aunt Rivera is taking a little bit of a hiatus as a new daddy, and Pete Alonso signing and all the Subway to Shea stuff there. But we'll join you on Thursday before USA drops the puck on Thursday night. Canada goes on Wednesday. Jared, what do we got coming up on the poker?
Well, we got a couple shorts made for this week, so we're caught up there. I got to voice some new stuff. I did just book a trip to Turning Stone next month for the WSOP circuit, so I'll probably do another drive-up vlog for that and just try to vlog as much as I can, because the video I did for the Borgata Winter Open did pretty well. So I think it's a nice way to get some longer form content on the channel there. So I was very pleased with how that one turned out.
I did enjoy your first drive up, vlog while you're on the car. I like watching the road pass too. If nothing else, it's entertaining.
Yeah, and it's fun to see how much of a left foot I have as well, because I had you can see on this speedometer on my display, I was going like 85 the entire way, which definitely you're not supposed to do in the Garden State Parkway.
Yeah, maybe you blur that out in the post-production next time. I
want to self-incriminate myself.
Be like, great video, but we're going to be at your house later today with a ticket. But for Mr. Jared Moore, I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard. Thanks as always for watching Rip and Riff. We're post-football season here, but plenty of hockey, baseball, basketball, all that good stuff to come. We'll be back with you next week with an all-new episode of Rip and Riff here on the Rip and Riff YouTube channel.